Hey, it's Ed with Free Circle. How you doing this morning? Welcome to the dialogue. I want to talk about voting today. You got to get your vote on, people. Be informed. Be a good voter. Don't just check the box and get out of the voting place. Make sure you study, understand who and what you are voting for before you put your mark on the ballot. Voting matters. Voting is a responsibility, and voting is a duty. A lot of people think it's something, let other people it affects you. Every time a vote happens, it affects all of us. So when something of that importance is set out, you got to understand you've got to get yourself informed on what you are voting on. And make sure you get out and vote. The more people that get out, vote, the stronger our nation is because everybody is participating. Your voice does matter. All right, here in Oregon, we've got, let's see, 6 measures that we are voting on. Out of those 6 measures, 4 of those wants to amend the Constitution, and that's the state constitution. That's important to me. When I see measures that wants to amend the Constitution, pay close attention to what these measures say, because just putting an X on your vote could cost you dearly, especially when it amends the Constitution, because the Constitution is ultimately the law of the state. So yeah, it's disheartening when I find that percentage of the vote being wanting to amend the Constitution. So here in Oregon, Measure 102, this darn thing, it amends the Constitution. It allows local bonds for financing affordable housing with non-governmental entities. That doesn't even sound right. So they're wanting to take your money and give it to non-governmental agencies to produce affordable housing. What does that even mean? That's why you'd better dig in and read what this actually means before you vote on it. So this is what I'm talking about. Amending the Constitution to allow local bonds, and study what a bond is, and you'd understand, for financing affordable housing with non-governmental entities. Wow. So we're looking at measures here that changes our system here more into a socialist agenda in Oregon. Measure 103, it amends the Constitution. It prohibits taxes, fees based on transactions for groceries. This was enacted or amended after 2017. Here in Oregon, we don't pay sales tax. And for as long as I have been trying to change the law to allow them to implement sales taxes. And they have been they're subverting the law to implement illegal taxes. That's taxation without representation is what it boils down to. But anyway, 103, they want to amend the Constitution now, so they stop doing that. You shouldn't have to amend the Constitution for that purpose. Like I said earlier, when we start amending the Constitution, that's touchy. Better know what you're amending. So, number 104, Measure 104 is another one, amending the Constitution, expands beyond taxes, application of requirement that 3/5 legislative majority approves bills rising revenue. See, this is another, Let's go on to 106. That's the other one that they want to amend the Constitution about. It prohibits spending public funds directly or indirectly for abortion. Exceptions reduces abortion access. This is kind of one of those things they've been trying to slap on the Constitution for a while now. Also is this abortion thing. And abortion is touchy. A lot of people are pro-life. I'm pro-life. And I don't like abortions. I do not agree with people getting abortions. However, I feel that that does not make it my right to vote and make it subject to other people's will. That's not good for me, because I don't condone abortion, but I have not the right to tell people what their free will is. And that's what God gives us free will for. Ultimately, if you are a Christian and you are involved with this, you'd better look at yourself, because we're not to judge like that. God is the ultimate judge, and you should not put your free will onto other people. It's their free will on that subject matter. Like I said, I don't agree with abortion, but I don't agree with taking a person's right of free will to choose for themselves what they want to do, because ultimately it's them going to stand before the Maker, not me, not anybody else, but the person making that choice for themselves. So I don't agree with amending the Constitution to take people's free will. So there are always alternatives to abortion, and we should probably start making those things known out to the public, just like Planned Parenthood is doing for abortion. And it's a touchy situation. People get argumentative about it, but what it really boils down to is that's free will, and it's the right of the woman to take that life or give that life. And that's my take on that. So anyway, 4 out of the 6 measures in Oregon wants to amend the Constitution. And I think when we get into the Constitution and amending the Constitution, the less amending to your Constitution, the better. Constitution should be kind of broad in scope. That way it can be interpreted freely. Let's put it that way. Anyway, so we got our voters pamphlet yesterday afternoon, and I've been breezing through, studying what the measures are and understanding who we're voting for. I don't vote Democrat or Republican. I vote independent. I like to choose for myself, not just go along with the party. And I don't think voting party politics is a wise thing. I think you should be informed, and I think you should be able to stand up against your party if you don't agree with your party. And that sometimes means you have to vote against what your party is doing. So ultimately, it's up to the individual to be an informed elector. Make sure you study and you're educated in your vote. And by golly, get out and rock your vote. It's important, people. You know, voting is one of those things that people take for granted. They don't really take time to understand the importance of it. And I, through my time growing up watching people vote, I've seen so many people say, no, I don't have to. I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican, so that's how I'm going to vote. And maybe that's why our politics are so screwed up right now. So understand, you got to inform yourself before you put your dot or your X or your signature down on that paper, because it doesn't only affect you, it affects me, it affects your children, their grandchildren. You know, it's an ever-ending ripple. So when we vote, it should be serious. And this is midterm. So there's going to be a lot of important place setters that are going to be voted on. So anyway, that's basically it for the day. I thank you for joining my little dialogue. You enjoy the day. Ed, Free Circle, out.